can pull this up. Yeah, so, hey everyone. Next generation games consoles release in like a month. They're real soon, and I mean, the Xbox consoles, people have those, they're doing bits of reviews. Sure, they're not allowed to talk about the next gen games yet, but that's at least like a box people have seen. PlayStation have been real fucking secretive. No one, as far as I'm aware, like not even the biggest outlets in the world, have a PS5 to start looking at yet. Which is why today everyone's a little bit excited, because we got a 10-minute video about the PlayStation 5 UI. Cantor says, how much room on a counter would you need for both consoles? Quite a bit, from what I can tell. Yeah, so 10-minute video has been shown off, and this is the best look we have had of what it actually looks like to use a PS5. So let's just jump in, I think.
Connecting you with a great play and a passionate.
Hold on, let me turn the sound down. Video. I need to not have, because it's just a person describing what is visibly happening on the screen. Go. Let's get past this.
I should note that there may be a few small wrinkles.
Okay. Here is the general starting up of the UI. Nothing too particularly exciting. You hit the PlayStation button, you pick your login, and in a second we will see it go straight into the last game you were playing. The default seems to be, when you boot it up from rest mode, here's the game you're in the middle of playing. It doesn't boot up to the home screen.
In this case, I've resumed
right.
where I left off.
Let's... where's my mouse gone? Yeah, let's talk about this first menu. So, I hope there's a way to turn this off. I'm not super keen on this thing. This is called the Control Center. And, you know, right down the very bottom here behind the YouTube search bar, you can see that it's got things like, go to the home menu, see your notifications. You know, that all makes sense. What I don't hugely like are these big cards. So the first one I don't mind so much. This first one is like, hey, here's news. There's a new trailer for a game that you like. They implied here that you can tell the PS5, like, I like these publishers, or these kind of games, or these series, and it will show you news based on those, rather than just generic, here's what we're trying to advertise to you. But it does seem like a really easy way to be like, let's take some advertising money and prioritize putting a trailer for this game here. You've got your screenshots you've recently taken. Don't mind that too much. These percentage ones are the things that I am most curious about the execution of, so we're going to skim forward a little bit. These are called activity cards. Let's skim forward to one of them. No, this is just screenshots. Yeah, so the idea with these are basically like achievements. These are an activity in the game you're currently playing that you have not completed, that you could work towards progress of completing. These are not explicitly trophies. This is not a trophy list. This is just things you could be doing in the game. Developers have to make an effort to make this work. They have to, like, go, this is a level, here's the points upon completing the level, so that you can work out what percentage of the level it is. Haley Snaily says, specifically, will the PS5 let me block stuff from certain publishers? I hope so. We'll see. Yes. So for this example, it's like, hey, you got 60% of the way through clearing the Soaring Summit level. That I don't mind. So, well, here's the thing. I'm a completionist. I get really obsessive about, like, 100% completing games, and that can be a bit of a problem for me. I don't like the idea of an impossible to turn off big card every time I boot up a game that goes, yeah, you only did 60% of that level, why haven't you gone back and finished it yet? Like, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to go like, oh, yeah, maybe go back to that. You missed some stuff there. There's more video game for you to play. I know that's going to wreak havoc on me. We also need to talk about that about 10 minutes at the bottom of that. So, apparently, the PS5 will estimate how long that activity will take for you to finish. So I'm 60% of the way through the Soaring Summit. The PS5 estimates it's going to take you 10 minutes to finish off the other 40% of that level. That is apparently based somewhat on your play record. Like, it's... The game is checking how long it takes you to complete, like, a standard activity in the game, and going like, oh, you most closely resemble these players, and they took this amount of time to complete this level, so we'll sort of estimate that that's how long you're going to take here. I do wonder, for disabled players, how accurately, like, let's say you are someone who is going to take, like, 15 or 20 times longer to complete the level than a standard player. Will the PS5 have enough reference data to estimate how long you're going to take accurately? And how much playing are you going to have to do before the PlayStation cottons on to what your particular speed is and gives you accurate estimates? Because I can see how this could be really disruptive from a disability standpoint of, if when you first start playing the game and you haven't given the game much data, it's going, oh, you should be able to complete this level in 10 minutes, and it takes you an hour to complete the level while this thing goes here, like, yeah, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. That could be, like, a really annoying, oh no, I'm supposed to be playing this faster, I'm doing really badly. So, like, I really hope that's turn-offable, because maybe it'll work fine and it'll pick up really quickly on what your speed is, but I'm really concerned what if it starts giving you estimates that are wildly not what your playstyle is, and you get that little anxiety of, oh no, I'm supposed to be playing it faster. Great idea if it works. Yeah. Okay, we'll skim forward a little further. If developers utilize it, there is one thing I do kind of like about this. So yeah, let's say you go to these cards and you're like, oh yeah, I didn't finish a big adventure in Sackboy's Big Adventure. You don't have to go find it in the game. If these cards have been set up by the developer in such a way that supports it, this is mainly going to be a thing for first-party games, I suspect. You can click on that challenge and go, yeah, please take me straight to that challenge, and it'll just load you to there. Oh, hey, Ashens, how are you doing today? Ashens in the chat says, really hate it when human behavior is predicted algorithmically as it never ends well. That's the thing, like, there's a lot of edge cases that algorithms will not predict human behavior well with, and I hope that those people can turn the algorithmic prediction off. Also, I worry about how much data it's collecting to work that out. Yeah, I do kind of like the idea that in this bar you can get a reminder of, here's a thing I haven't completed, just hop me to that level straight away. Again, a lot of these features we're seeing here, I don't think third-party developers are going to make the effort to do this for PlayStation if Xbox doesn't have an equivalent. Yeah. Yeah, this is just talking about that 10 minutes, that 10-minute estimate. We can skim forward a little bit. Okay, next thing we've got to talk about. Pull back. So, let's say I've only done 30% of this level, and you've got your, like, here's the things you haven't done yet. I haven't done find the small wave emote, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. If you see that exclamation mark with a plus next to it, if you have PlayStation Plus, this is a paid feature, and the developer has to have gone out of the way to support this, you can get a video direct in the game that shows your walkthrough of exactly how to do that one bit. I suppose this saves you from looking up a video walkthrough and scrubbing through to find the bit you're looking for. Like, there's a convenience aspect to it, but again, I don't know how many third-party developers are going to make use of this, and it feels weird in this day and age to gate video walkthrough content behind a paid service. That is so weird. Yeah. Right. I kind of like some of the way that this is actually done in practice, even if I don't like the concept of it existing. So, here's your little video preview of your walkthrough. Yeah, a big part of how they're pitching this is you can get the bit of walkthrough information you need without having to risk coming across spoilers, and I guess that's a thing. But also, they've used Sackboy's Big Adventure as the test case of why you would use this, and that seems like such a weird game to do it with, because what's a spoiler in Sackboy's Big Adventure? Are you really worried about spoilers when you YouTube search for a walkthrough? Yeah, just look up YouTube on your phone if you don't have PS Plus.
Sometimes it's really useful
Yeah, I do like this. You can picture-in-picture your walkthroughs. I like that they seem to be doing picture-in-picture for a lot of stuff on the PS5 UI. It was an idea they had with the Xbox that they never really did anything with. I loved the idea of being able to have, like, hey, there's a TV show in one corner of the screen while I'm playing my Xbox in the other bit of the screen. I like the snap menu stuff and the picture-in-picture. And, like, I have PS Plus, so if I ever end up using this feature for a first-party game, I like the execution. I like that I can have the little walkthrough up on the same screen that I'm playing. I can just play along with it. That's kind of... yeah. That's... Ashens, you make a good point. Surely they know people would just go to YouTube and it won't tempt anyone to play for PS Plus. Sudden fear, they start blocking YouTube walkthroughs under the excuse they spoil games. Yeah. My concern is... if they're making their own video walkthroughs for games, will they consider other people making video walkthroughs for games, pirated content? Because you can technically load up a walkthrough video in the game. Do they now own walkthrough video? Yeah, there is that little bit of, like, could this be a step to... because if this exists alongside video walkthroughs, yeah, if I have PS Plus, sure, I'll use this for games that support it. No one is going to buy PS Plus to get this feature. Yeah, I will say, it looks nice here. I like that they have the little blurb description of, like, here's what you do, we'll show you the video alongside it. I do wonder how this will work for bigger games. So, like, let's say you were looking up a walkthrough for Bloodborne 2, and it's like, you gotta go defeat this boss, but you need to hit them in this... like, how much information can they squeeze into that little off-screen thing? Voice chat, yeah, you get a little menu. I'm not too fussed about it. What I do find more interesting, though, is what they show us after voice chat. Let's skip ahead. Shared screen. This is much more interesting. So, basically, if you're in a voice chat lobby with friends and you're talking while you're playing games with each other, you can show each other a little screen of what you're playing while you're playing. This is a feature I will genuinely use. I like this as a feature. Again, I believe you can sort of pop this picture-in-picture. Have I skimmed right past it? I'm sure there was a picture-in-picture preview in here somewhere. Oh, yeah. So you can sort of pick whereabouts you want it on the screen.
This is another card that could be put in picture.
So you can put it in lots of different places, shove it away in a corner, see what your friend's doing. So I don't see myself doing this a lot with the use case they've done here of my friend is playing a completely different game and I will have them in the corner while they're doing it. Maybe so. What I see this as more useful for is stuff like Man of Medan, that co-op horror game that released last year, where you could split off and do different things from what your co-op person was doing and being able to glance over at what they're doing while you're doing your different thing. That could be pretty cool. I could see it for cooperative online multiplayer games. I like the idea of being able to just glance at a corner of the screen and go, that's what teammate is up to. Get that information very quickly. Yeah, I like this feature. This is something I might use. Like, I've had times where I'm sat just playing games with a friend, like, we're both playing Animal Crossing or something, and yeah, we're both playing the same game, the same single-player game, but in different places. Any kind of creative games, this could be really nice to be able to, like, talk to your friend while you're both doing your creative things. Yeah.
Center 2, but let's dismiss it for now.
So yeah, we'll get rid of that. What else do they talk about?
I see that some of my friends are online, so it's time to say goodbye to Sackboy for now.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so this bit of the video is about switching to play a different game. You've got a card, your friend is playing Destruction All-Stars online, you can just join straight in with them. I want to talk about what we do and don't know here about suspending and resuming games on PS5. So, Xbox, we know, has a feature called what is it? Xbox... I've blanked on it. Quick Resume, that's the feature. Xbox Quick Resume, where you can have, like, up to 5 games just in the background, paused, and jump straight back into exactly where you were. You can... Alana Pierce this week put a video up. She had the console unplugged from the mains for an entire 24 hours, plugged it back in, and was still able to quick resume into her games. That's a really cool feature. I don't know from this video whether Sony has an equivalent. They never say they have an equivalent. I believe they do, and I'm going to talk about the evidence. But I think the reason they're not talking about it is theirs is less impressive than Xbox's solution. I think that they probably can support fewer games and they can't support you unplugging the mains, plugging it back in, and it's still being resumed. That's my theory for now. So, first of all, jumping into Destruction All-Stars, the PS5 does not give you any warning of like, oh, have you saved your game? Are you sure you want to close this game that's currently running? That's what the PS4 does. This jumps straight over. So, the fact that this jumps straight over with no warning, unlike the PS4, suggests to me that it is suspending, in some way, shape, or form, Sackboy in the background. I will say, this game does load up real fucking fast, I cannot deny. Like, there you go, game is up and running. That's nice and quick. If that is representative of the actual user experience, that is great. All we really learn about the capture button is it can capture in 4K for video and images, which is good because PlayStation's share button always kind of didn't quite hit the resolution of what was actually on the screen. It was always a bit of a reduced resolution. Mirror EUW says, I'm not sure how useful quick resume is when games load in 10 seconds anyway. I mean, I personally really like the feature, but I recognise that I'm a use case that is not the average consumer. I have a 4K TV downstairs in the living room, but I have my PC that I do streaming and capture with up in the office. Being able to pause exactly where I am and not have to replay to a certain section, unplug the Xbox, bring it up to my office, plug it back in, and get straight back to where I was, it's going to be incredibly convenient. I know I am not the average use case for that, but I still think it's interesting to try and dissect whether Sony has an equivalent, because they have very, very clearly not said anything of that nature. So yeah, nothing particularly exciting to see about the capture stuff. Right, let's talk about the main home screen. I am streaming this at 720p because I don't have partner settings yet, which means that I have to stream at something that I can guarantee most people can watch. Look at that Sackboy icon. That's small and cluttered and not immediately obvious what it is, huh? There's a real tiny little icon. So much wasted space on this screen. If you compare this to the Xbox Series X home screen, much bigger tiles, much better use of the space. I don't need 80% of this screen to be empty. Yeah, the little Sackboy icon is to the right of Destruction All-Stars. Yeah, in the top right, it's the second game in. The fact that I'm getting people who are like, literally, where is that Sackboy icon, should tell you what you need to know. Sony, in this video, kept hammering home this idea of, this is going to look great on 4K screens, beautiful on 4K screens. It's designed first and foremost for 4K screens. Not everyone has a 4K TV yet. And we had this when we moved from standard definition to the 360 PS3 generation. The original user interfaces for those consoles looked absolutely god-awful on SD TVs because they were so obsessed with making it look good on the shiny new thing that you couldn't make it out on your old set. And Xbox, I think Xbox are doing a better job at this, and they've gone for the bigger tiles because they have the Series S. They have something that isn't, one of their SKUs isn't going to display at 4K, so they're a lot more aware of making sure their user interface works for 1080p TVs. I don't think this looks good at 1080p. I've seen it at full 1080p, and I'm like, that's small and cramped. Also, for accessibility purposes, this is going to be really hard for people with visual impairments. Anyone who is partially sighted or blind is going to have real trouble telling what's on that top row on a 1080p screen. That is not good. That is a real shame. Oh, Conrad's here. Hello, Conrad. Conrad Zimmerman says, top to bottom, Sony's pulling the same crap they did 2 generations ago, pushing luxury on a market that's unprepared to support it. Yeah, this home screen sums that up. This is them pushing the new thing rather than, like, having any consideration for the people who, like, oh, I want the faster SSD and all of those cool features, and I want to have the new console for its exclusive games, and so that I'm ready when I get a 4K TV, it'll look even better. They're not concerned with that audience, which is a real shame. Like, here's my only hope. We have not discredited the fact that there could be an option to change the user interface size on the home menu, and I hope that's the case. If you can change the size of the icons on this home menu and let them take up slightly more of that screen, fine. This home screen looks fine. Yeah, right. We'll skim ahead a little bit. Yeah, here's them talking about 4K display, 4K display. Blah blah blah, 4K. Okay, this is a strange one. This is something called the Explore menu. From what I can tell, from what they've shown, it's basically just a news tab of like, here's PlayStation news. What's weird about it is it's only launching in North America on launch day, while they perform some kind of test with it. What kind of test do you need to do? It's a screen of trailers for, like, here's the PlayStation 5. Or well, why do we need a trailer for the PS5? I'm on the PS5. Here's a trailer for Destruction All-Stars. Why is that a hard thing to implement worldwide? I'm very curious what they're testing out with this and what they need to use North America as a test market for. Because, yeah, this seems like the PS4's What's New section. I don't understand what the purpose of this advert tab is, and what makes it so that it can only launch in one region, because, we just need time to really perfect what trailers we show you. Again, it's such a strange... Like, yeah, here's a trailer for the PS5. Why is that something that they can't show worldwide? Okay. This is kind of cool. The PlayStation Store is no longer a bootable app. It's now just a thing on the menu. You go over, it's already there. Presumably, at some point while you're playing games, it will have downloaded up-to-date store information and just have it ready, so that you're not having to wait for it to load in. The PlayStation Store loads slow as shit. So, yeah, I'm happy to see this be a quick thing to access. I'm glad to not have the wait around of, okay, gotta wait till I can't buy things. I've got to wait until I've loaded to be allowed to buy things. Like, that's it's not gonna sell me on the console, but it's a positive move. It seems more seamless. That's something. Right, and there's only really one thing left I want to talk about. Let me scroll and try and find it. So, I was talking about not being sure if the PlayStation 5 has something like Quick Resume, and my theory was it does because it was able to boot into Destruction All-Stars without asking if I wanted to, like, close or save Sackboy. Right. Where are we? No, this is sharing photos. Oh, I'm trying to find the one thing I was trying to show. Oh yeah, here it is. Where's that rest mode menu? We'll get there in a second. I know what I'm looking for. Right, so let me pause here. Charge controllers, download updates, and suspend your games. Don't unplug the power cord while in rest mode. Now, maybe I'm reading too much into this. I think the fact that it didn't ask, are you okay with closing Sackboy, before closing it, which is a thing the PS4 does, and here it says suspend your games, it seems to say plural. I think that you do have the ability to have a game in the background while you're running another game. I think that is a thing. I don't think it's going to be as extensive as Xbox's option, because I think if it was, they would have talked about it. They would want you to know it's a thing. If it does exist, it does not seem like it'll work beyond pulling your power cable out, which isn't going to be a problem for most people. But for me, wanting to move my console back and forth between two spaces, that's a bit of a shame, I suppose. But yeah, that's basically everything we saw in that PS4 user experience. I want to be able to turn the cards off that predict how long it's going to take me to do things and constantly go, you only did 60% of this, go be a completionist. I want to turn that off. I hope that you can make those home icons bigger. I really hope, for accessibility purposes, that they can be made bigger. Maybe. I mean, nothing here ruined the PS5 for me. Nothing here I look at and go, yeah, the console's terrible, it's broken. Nothing here sold me terribly much. I still feel much the same as I did about the PS5 before I watched this. Picture-in-picture's cool. That's going to be... the main thing I keep thinking about for that picture-in-picture is, at some point soon, I want to do a stream of, I think it's Little Hope, which is the next game from the Man of Medan people, with the lovely MC Fixer on Twitch, and we want to be playing through co-op mode, and it would be really nice to be able to have a little window of what Corey's up to in the corner of the screen while I'm playing mine, and have that be how the stream worked. Like, I can think of use cases for the screen sharing thing, but honestly, that's, like, the most interesting thing to me they showed. Haley's Naley says, not sure that I want adverts on the thing I'm paying upwards of $1,000 for a new console and a 4K TV to see. Yeah. Venomoth says it will be kind of like the PS4, kind of bare bones at launch, adding functionality with updates. I mean, probably, but right now we have the day one experience to talk about, so that's what we're talking about. Pixel Podium says, I wonder how the downloads will be. Remember when they advertised playing games while they download a ton for the PS4? And when you did, you hit that point where you have to wait for the download super fast, and the download itself was miserably slow. Fun fact, Xbox this generation with the Series X and the Series S do have a function like that. It's only for certain games, but apparently it's a lot more specific than that, than PS4's like, we randomly said you can boot it from here, who knows what you'll get. The example they gave was for Xbox Series X. You could download just Doom Eternal's multiplayer, or just the single player, and it would tell you when that was available. That's cool. Yeah, Jesse Cook says, the tiny home icons would be a deal breaker in my case. Hopefully they can be adjusted. Yeah, we don't know if they can be adjusted, because right now they're telling us literally nothing. We know less than nothing right now. Yeah. I think that's about it. I don't know if I've got much else to say. I just wanted to jump on for 20 minutes and talk about PlayStation UI. If anyone's got any thoughts or questions, we'll go through them in the chat for a little bit and then we'll wrap up. I just wanted to... I've not done one of these not quite live streams in a bit, and I thought, you know, I'm free today. Why not? The MC Womble says, I know some friends who will get obsessed with trophy grinding with the game objective tracker and estimate time to complete. Yeah, that's the thing. I understand entirely why Sony's implemented this. That is absolutely going to get people to spend more time playing their games and play them more towards completion. It's designed to do that. I just know that my brain gets really stuck and obsessive, and that's going to be bad for my mental health. Let's have a look. New Guy says, do you think screen sharing would be disabled for competitive games, where a player could potentially get an unfair advantage by seeing something they normally couldn't? I don't think it will be disabled. What I think will happen is in tournament settings, tournaments will ban you from using it in, like, a competitive setting. I think it's one of those, everyone has access to it or no one has access to it. So as long as you're not playing crossplay, where Xbox users don't have that as an option, you know, if everyone's playing on PS5 together, just playing their PS5 games, I don't see a problem with letting people, you know, optionally share with the people on their team a little view of what they're doing. That could be an actively cool thing for competitive games. Downward92 says, accessibility-wise, I'm more concerned about the adaptive triggers on the controller. Yes, this is my big concern about... Accessibility-wise, it's the main thing I'm worried about with the PS5 right now, is can you turn off the resistive triggers that resist being pushed, which are going to be terrible for anyone with muscular issues, hand weakness, chronic pain issues in the hands. They're going to be unplayable, and I really hope that they can be switched off. Same for the new fancy rumble. Can you switch off the new fancy rumble if you're someone who shaking in your hands is going to be a problem? Like, I just want Sony to answer those two questions accessibility-wise. Can you turn off the fancy triggers and the fancy rumble if you are a person that can't handle the fancy triggers and the fancy rumble? Sir Chunks asks if there's any possible accessibility issues with the PS5 controller features. Yeah, as I said, if you've got hand weakness or chronic pain in the hands or joint issues, those resistive triggers are going to be a real problem, and I really hope they can be switched off. Yeah. What PS5 games am I most excited about? Honestly, right now, it's Miles Morales, and Demon Souls. And I recognise it's like a sort of semi-sequel that's also coming to PS4 and a remake of a game from ages ago. But I'm really excited to have an excuse to go back to Demon Souls in a prettier looking fashion. That game looks gorgeous. And have you seen that you can have a cat in your backpack in Spider-Man, and the cat will help you do Spider-Man activities? The cat will help you in combat and then go back in your backpack. Game of the Year territory right there. That's all I needed to know. Venomoth says, I guess they haven't said if there will be folders. I believe I read something on Digital Foundry that went up at the same time as this presentation went up. They got to see a little more, they got to ask some questions, they got to talk to someone at Sony. I believe they said that folders are an option. But don't quote me on that. Go check Eurogamer, go read Digital Foundry's write-up of this user interface reveal. They have more information than I do. What else is in the chat? I'm trying to keep up with the chat as best I can. Yeah, lots of people sharing stories of accessibility stuff with the controllers. Danwood says, I don't have issues most of the time, but sometimes my hands just decide they're going to be weird for a day or so, and it'd suck to not be able to use my console on those days. Yeah, just let people opt out of it. It's a thing that, if it works, is going to make you more engaged with the game, but, like, there is literally no reason they couldn't be turned off and the game would still work. So just don't be exclusionary, Sony. Let people turn it off. Yeah, Demon Souls is like the main thing I am excited. It's Demon Souls and Spider-Cat all the way. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think we're going to wrap up. This has been really lovely, everyone. Thank you for popping in for this, albeit kind of brief, impromptu stream. I had half an hour spare. I thought I'd jump on. If you hop on stream tomorrow night, 10 PM UK, 5 PM Eastern, 2 PM Pacific, I'm going to be streaming some more Fall Guys Season 2. Have a good rest of your day, everyone. Bye.